A driver must choose an appropriate vehicle speed according to the traffic or road conditions, climate or visibility, even when proceeding at a speed within the designated speed limit. True. As long as the driver of a vehicle with automatic transmission understands the basics of driving techniques, he or she can take driving lightly because it poses fewer dangers to the driver compared to driving a vehicle with manual transmission. False. Correct use of child seats dramatically reduces injury in the event of an accident and prevents children from interfering with driving. True. Drivers must obey all the necessary instructions of police officers about how to proceed, etc. True. If changing lanes will cause a vehicle approaching from behind to brake abruptly or steer sharply, do not change lanes. True. A hand signal as shown in the figure, with the arm extended diagonally downward from the vehicle, is used to indicate that the vehicle is reversing. False. If a signboard showing a blue arrow pointing left on a white background left turn permitted is mounted at the left side of the road or on the traffic signal, vehicles may turn left even when signal out of them is red or yellow. True. Before proceeding through a railroad crossing where visibility is good, drivers are not required to bring their vehicles to a complete stop just before the railroad crossing or just before the stop line. If present, they may proceed after slowing down and ensuring safety. False. At intersections where traffic signs and pavement markings indicate the directions such as straight and left turn, vehicles may proceed only in the direction indicated. True. When proceeding on a road without a halfway line, you should proceed along the center of the road because a pedestrian may dash out onto the street at any moment. False. People who have been issued a semi-medium-sized driver's license may drive, in addition to semi-medium-sized vehicles, regular vehicles and light special equipment and mopeds, motorized bicycles. True. Side strips refer to those strips provided on the side of the road that are delineated by a white line to provide spaces for pedestrians along the road having no sidewalk and to increase the utility of the vehicular road. True. If an emergency automobile approaches, vehicles near an intersection must move to the left side of the road and come to a stop outside the intersection. True. You may drive a microbus carrying 11 passengers with a regular driver's license. False. A driver must sound the vehicle's horn where there is a traffic sign as shown in the figure, even if he or she does not observe danger. True. Mini car is a regular vehicle, so it is not prohibited on the expressway. False. The rider of a moped proceeded at a speed of 50 km per hour on a public road with no traffic sign or pavement marking. False. When passing near a pedestrian, a driver must leave a safe, wide berth between the vehicle and the pedestrian or slow down. True. Vehicles and mopeds may not pass through roads regulated by this traffic sign shown on the left. True. It is permitted to drive an automobile, even when one's license is suspended or temporarily suspended, since it has not been revoked if necessary. False. When proceeding near an intersection, and an emergency vehicle approaches you, you should move away from the intersection, move to the left side of the road and proceed at a reduced speed. False. It is sufficient when driving to obey traffic refutations. There is no need to worry about give and take with other drivers and pedestrians. False. To overtake, the driver must first turn on the right turn signal while moving to the right side, and then check the situation behind. False. When the rider of the motorcycle gave the hand signal shown on the left, The vehicle approaching the rear of the motorcycle promptly steered to the right. False. You must choose a safe speed within the speed limit depending on the traffic, weather, and visibility conditions. True. When you have to make a sudden stop in a vehicle equipped with the anti-lock brake system, you should jam on the brake pedal and continue to depress the brake pedal until it comes to a complete stop. True. This traffic sign shown on the left refers to "close to all vehicles," indicating that vehicles may not pass through the road. False. When proceeding behind a vehicle, a driver must maintain enough distance between vehicles so as to avoid colliding with the vehicle ahead if it stops suddenly. In that case, when the vehicles are proceeding faster, the distance must be larger. True. When parking your vehicle in a parking space, it is advisable to enter the space head-on and exit by backing up. False. On roads with this sign, cargo vehicles with a maximum loading capacity of over 3 tons and large special vehicles cannot use this road. True. The drivers of all vehicles must not only observe the traffic rules but also take out automobile insurance as a measure of precaution and always have first aid tools at hand. True. Automobiles and mopeds may proceed on the side strip when the road is congested. False. Overtaking mopeds is permitted, even where overtaking other vehicles is prohibited. False. When proceeding through a railway crossing, even if one train has just passed by in one direction, there may be another train approaching from the opposite direction immediately afterward. Therefore, drivers must be sure to check the safety of the opposite direction. True. A vehicle must not execute a left or right turn at an intersection where there is traffic sign as shown in the figure. True. A driver slowed down and passed by a school bus which had stopped to let children get on and off the bus. False. You must proceed on the left side of roads without vehicular lanes, except when you attempt to overtake other vehicles. True. When passing near a pedestrian, a driver must leave a safe, wide berth between the vehicle and the pedestrian or slow down. True. Improper use of child seat would render it ineffective, so follow the manufacturer's instruction manual carefully to use it properly. True. When you drive by a person in a wheelchair, or walking with the aid of a seeing eye dog, you must stop or slow down. True. Wearing seat belts helps reduce injury in cases of an accident. True. The signal for making a U-turn is the same for that of a right turn. True. On public roads where a speed limit is not indicated on traffic signs or pavement marking, the maximum speed for vehicles and motorized bicycles is 50 kilometers per hour. False. Regular motor vehicles can proceed straight through and execute a left or right turn at an intersection where a traffic sign as shown in the figure is displayed. True. When you saw a route bus, which had stopped at a bus stop, and signaling to start moving, you kept on driving by the side of the bus, sounding the car horn, because you were in a big hurry. True. There is no guarantee that driving vehicles on public roads is absolutely safe. This is why you should always drive carefully and exercise due caution in the surrounding to traffic to avoid dangerous situations. True. You may drive across a pedestrian walkway designated as a walkway for school children if you have received permission to cross from the school principal. False. Vehicles do not have to stop immediately before crossing sidewalks or side strips if no pedestrians are present. False. When you catch up with a route bus, which has stopped at a bus station, you must wait behind the bus until it starts to move forward. False. The driver of a four-wheeled vehicle has to wear a seat belt, but the passenger sitting in the front seat does not. False. Overtaking is not prohibited inside the tunnels with vehicular lanes. True. A pavement marking as shown in the figure indicates no parking. True. When driving with a child on board, you do not have to use a child seat if the child is sick or if the child objects to using it. False. When there is a pedestrian who is about to cross at a pedestrian crossing, a vehicle may sound the horn to alert the pedestrian after making a stop and proceed through the crossing before the pedestrian starts crossing if the driver is in a hurry. False. If one drives without carrying a driver's license, it is regarded as driving without a valid license even if he or she is licensed. False. Vehicles must proceed very carefully on roads where a traffic sign as shown in the figure is displayed, because there is a danger of strong side winds that may make steering difficult. False. A driver may select any type of clothing for driving as long as he or she is not naked. False. Passing too close to or cutting in front of a regular vehicle that is displaying a sign indicating a novice driver, senior driver, learner driver, or physically disabled driver is, in principle, prohibited. True. When the gear shift of an automatic transmission vehicle is in the position of P or N, the vehicle may move forward creep effect. False. Do not offer alcohol to any person who may be driving soon. True. If there is a person crossing a pedestrian crossing, and he or she stops when a vehicle approaches, the vehicle may continue to proceed as before. False. Overthinking is prohibited inside tunnels even if the tunnels have vehicular lanes. False. For driving, you should use a hands-free cell phone, which allows you to answer the phone without using your hands. True. At an intersection, you must give due caution to vehicles or pedestrians that may be blocked from view by other vehicles. True. The correct driving posture. The knees are slightly bent when depressing the clutch pedal and the elbows are slightly bent when holding the steering wheel. True. On roads regulated by this traffic sign shown on the left, vehicles proceeding in the lane 3 must not proceed straight or execute a left turn. True. When you have to make a sudden stop in a vehicle equipped with the anti-lock brake system, you should jam on the brake pedal and continue to depress the brake pedal until it comes to a complete stop. True. Where this traffic sign is indicated, you must proceed while reducing to a speed at which you can come to an immediate halt. True. This arrow shown in the figure indicates the correct way to execute a right turn. False. It is not necessary to slow down near the top of an uphill. False. A traffic sign as shown in the figure indicates traffic merges from the left. True. You must not apply sudden braking unless it is inevitable that you do so in order to alleviate danger. True. A vehicle may proceed straddling two vehicular lanes when traffic is congested. False. When the traffic light you are facing is indicating a flashing red light at an intersection, you must either stop or slow down when approaching the intersection. False. A traffic sign as shown in the figure indicates crossing by pedestrians prohibited. False. When passing beside a pedestrian who is visually impaired and walking with a white or yellow cane, you must stop or slow down when driving past him or her, and should never impede the progress of that person. However, if a visually impaired person is walking with the aid of a seeing eye dog, he or she is regarded as an ordinary pedestrian and so stopping or slowing down is not required. False. When making a right turn inside an intersection, and there is a two-wheeled approaching, you must exercise due caution because it is difficult to discern the correct distance between you and the oncoming two-wheeled vehicle. True. Driving in accordance with traffic regulations helps protect the lives of other people and your own life too. True. When passing by a bicycle, you do not have to exercise caution as much as you do for a pedestrian. False. Yellow pavement markings indicate stronger regulations than those indicated with white pavement markings. True. Since many accidents occur during the twilight hours, it is advisable to turn on your headlights after your eyes get used to the darkness. False. When noticing an emergency vehicle approaching before reaching an intersection, a driver must move to the left side of the road. Come to stop after passing the intersection. False. When passengers are getting on or off a streetcar with safety zone, drivers must stop until all of the passengers finish crossing the road. False. When towing a broken down vehicle using a rope, the safe distance from one another is 5 meters or more. False. When the vehicle being towed with gross weight of 750 kilograms or less, a towing license is required in addition to an appropriate license for the towing automobile. False. Large motorcycles and regular motorcycles must not proceed on a road with a traffic sign as shown in the figure. False. On paths for pedestrian use, vehicles with their garages on the roadside or vehicles with special permission are allowed to proceed. In such cases, drivers must slow down except when no pedestrians are present. False. When vehicles are parked or stopped on a road where there is neither a sidewalk nor a side strip, they must be parked or stopped along the left edge of the roadway. False. When a vehicle gets a flat tire while driving, it is advisable for the driver to hold the steering wheel tightly to keep the car body straight, and depress the brakes several times to bring the vehicle to a stop. True. A pavement marking as shown in the figure indicates no parking and stopping. False. Parking is prohibited in the areas within 10 meters of the signboard of a bus stop during business hours. However, stopping is not prohibited in such areas. False. Making several separate presses of the brake pedal when applying the brakes causes a vehicle's brake lights to flash on and off, which acts as a signal to vehicles behind and can help prevent rear-end collisions. True. The maximum speed limit on national expressways for large passenger automobiles is 80 kilometers per hour. False. When a vehicle is proceeding on a designated lane near an intersection, the driver must keep the lane even if an emergency vehicle approaches from behind. False. For regular motorcycle, cargo can be loaded up to 60 centimeters beyond the rear of the carrying device. False. The driver must stop to allow person in a wheelchair and with guide dog for blind to pass safely. False. The police officer's hand signal as shown in the figure has the same meaning as a green light for traffic proceeding in the direction of the arrows. False. Because visibility ahead is poor near the top of a hill and on a steep upward slope, it is prohibited to overtake at such locations. False. The brake works better when the vehicle is loaded with heavy cargo. False. Many cars, regular motorcycles with engine displacement of 125 cc's or less, and motorized bicycles are prohibited to travel on expressways. True. In a zone designated by a sound horn traffic sign on a winding mountainous road where visibility poor, drivers must sound their horn to avoid danger. True. The braking distance is shorter on a wet asphalt or snowy road where the surface is slippery. False. A traffic sign as shown in the figure indicates entering by only vehicles prohibited. False. Driving in the fog drastically reduces field of vision, so drivers should turn on headlights, fog lamps, or taillights before visibility gets too low, but you should not sound a horn. False. Cargo loaded on a regular truck may protrude beyond the width of the truck up to 1/10 of the automobile's length. False. Vehicles must slow down before passing a stopped vehicle just before a pedestrian or bicycle crossing. False. When a police officer is making a hand signal on a road without a pedestrian crossing or similar situation, vehicles facing the police officer must stop 3 meters before him or her. False. The distance from the point at which the driver detects danger to the point at which the brake pedal is depressed and the brake starts to operate is called braking distance. False. Even in order to make a left turn, regular automobiles may not proceed in the leftmost lane when it is indicated by an exclusive lane for route buses traffic sign. False. The driver of a truck must not allow passengers to ride in the carrier of the truck. However, when carrying cargo in a truck, the minimum number of people required to observe the cargo are allowed to ride in the cargo bed. True. When approaching a pedestrian crossing, vehicles may proceed slowly when it is not clear whether or not there are people crossing. False. At and within 30 meters before a pedestrian or bicycle crossing zone, vehicles should not overtake an automobile or motorized bicycle, but passing is permitted. False. Automobiles facing a traffic signal as shown in the figure must stop in any situations. False. Being able to walk a two-wheeled vehicle through a full figure of 8 is also one of the requirements for selecting an appropriate vehicle type. True. Drivers must obey all the necessary instructions by the police officers. True. When pulling the parking brake lever fully, greater its extension, the better its function. False. A rider who holds a large motorcycle or regular motorcycle license for a total of 3 years or more and is older than 21 years can ride double on expressways. False. If an emergency vehicle approaches from behind on one-way street, automobiles must move to the right side of the road to yield. False. When a driver misses an interchange turnoff or noticed too late on in the expressway, he is permitted to reverse or stop to exit main through lanes while ensuring safety behind. False. Overthinking along a steep upward and downward slope are prohibited because acceleration rates increase in such locations. False. When the light of an oncoming car is blinking you should avoid looking directly at the light and focus to the right to prevent your vision being impaired in this way. False. On a road with a traffic sign as shown in the figure, caution is required because there are oncoming vehicles. True. Do not shift gears while you are in the railway crossing to prevent the engine from stalling. True. A regular motorcycle rider who has held a motorcycle license for 1 year or more may drive a motorcycle while carrying a passenger behind, even if there is no passenger seat on the motorcycle. False. Parking and stopping is prohibited within 5 meters from the edge of roadway sites. False. When passing a pedestrian or a bicycle, the driver must leave a safe distance and slow down. False. Side strips and shoulders are parts of main through lane of expressways. False. The force of impact increases in proportion to the vehicle's speed. The greater the speed, the greater the risk. False. Automobile must turn on their hazard lights or parking lights or rear light when parking at night, even the places where the vehicle can be seen from 50 meters behind, or when you use an emergency warning reflector board. False.